The radical power of choosing yourself. Why self care isn't selfish, it's revolutionary. Have you ever noticed how we're taught from childhood that putting ourselves first is somehow wrong? That choosing our own needs means we're selfish, inconsiderate, or just plain difficult. I used to believe that too, until I didn't. Recently, I had the extraordinary opportunity to interview EnfinityENT Jonikqua, a visionary who has transformed countless lives through her unwavering commitment to authentic self advocacy. What struck me most about our conversation wasn't just her remarkable success, but how she's completely rewritten the rules about what it means to prioritize yourself while still lifting others. Jonah isn't just a business leader. She's a paradigm shifter who has helped thousands of people, particularly women of color, reclaim their power by first reclaiming themselves. Her philosophy has sparked movements, built communities, and created a new language around what it truly means to thrive. The oxygen mask principle isn't just for airplanes, she told me with that knowing smile that comes from hard won wisdom. It's for life. That conversation changed everything for me. And today I want to share what I learned from Jonaqua about the revolutionary act of choosing yourself, not as a selfish indulgence, but as the foundation for everything meaningful you'll ever build. Let's be honest. We're living in a world that profits from your exhaustion, a world that celebrates the grind until you're ground down to nothing, a world that calls boundary setting difficult and self sacrifice noble, a world where burnout isn't just common, it's practically expected. But what if that entire framework is backward? What if choosing yourself isn't selfish at all, but the most responsible thing you could possibly do? Consider Heather Deba's story. When she immigrated with barely enough money to survive, conventional wisdom said to take any job, accept any treatment, be grateful for any opportunity. Instead, she made a radical choice. She chose herself. With no capital, no network, and facing constant skepticism about her ambitions, Heather established clear, non negotiable boundaries around her time and energy. She refused to be exploited even when that meant walking away from opportunities that seemed too good to pass up. No became her most powerful word. When clients wanted endless revisions without additional payment, she declined, politely but firmly. When family members expected her to drop everything for their emergencies, she compassionately redirected them. When her own perfectionism demanded she work through the night, she shut her laptop anyway. Each boundary felt terrifying. Each no felt like potential failure. Each time she prioritized rest over hustle, a voice in her head whispered, "You're not doing enough." But something unexpected happened. Rather than limiting her success, these boundaries became its foundation. Today, her company generates over $200,000 in annual revenue. More importantly, she's built it without sacrificing her health, her relationships, or her sanity. The moment I stopped apologizing for protecting my time, Heather says, was the moment my business finally started to thrive. This isn't just about entrepreneurship, it's about the fundamental way we move through the world. We've been sold this bizarre idea that consistency means grinding without rest, that success requires sacrifice of everything that makes life worth living, that boundaries are luxuries for those who've already made it. But Joniqua's wisdom turns this thinking on its head. True consistency isn't about never stopping. It's about showing up fully when you do show up. It's about sustainable action rather than spectacular burnout. Look at what happened at Texas Tech University's Rawls College of Business. A group of students with zero experience decided to create an entrepreneurial marketplace. By conventional standards, they should have worked around the clock, sacrificed their studies, their sleep, their sanity, all in service of making it happen. Instead, they did something revolutionary. They divided tasks into manageable stages. They set boundaries around their commitments. They supported each other emotionally during stressful times. Most importantly, they showed up consistently, not by working themselves to exhaustion, but by honoring their limits so they could bring their best selves to the project each day. The result? A wildly successful marketplace that launched multiple student businesses. But more than that, they discovered that boundary setting wasn't limiting their success, it was enabling it. One student put it perfectly. I always thought setting boundaries meant I wasn't committed enough. Now I realize boundaries are what make commitment possible in the first place. This isn't just feel good advice, it's practical wisdom with measurable results. Consider Brent Kessler, who transitioned from being an overworked chiropractor to a financial educator using the infinite banking concept. For years, he juggled multiple clinics, spreading himself impossibly thin across ventures and family obligations. The breaking point came when he realized he was helping everyone except himself. His finances were a mess. His health was suffering. His relationships were strained. The solution wasn't working harder, it was working differently. Brent learned that setting firm financial and personal boundaries gave him greater control over his resources and time. He adopted consistent investment habits instead of chasing quick wins. He started saying no to opportunities that didn't align with his highest priorities, even when those opportunities looked impressive on paper. Today, he's built a multi million-dollar wealth portfolio while maintaining work life balance. He's helping family members do likewise, and he's achieved the freedom to teach others this system full time after selling his clinics, all because he chose himself first. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. That sounds great for entrepreneurs and business people, but what about the rest of us? What about those of us with demanding jobs, family responsibilities, communities that need us? This is where Joniqua's wisdom really shines, because choosing yourself isn't about abandoning responsibilities. It's about approaching them from a place of fullness rather than depletion. Think about it this way: when you're running on empty, what quality of care can you really provide to others? What quality of work can you produce? What kind of presence can you bring to your relationships? Choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's strategic. It's recognizing that you can't pour from an empty cup, that martyrdom isn't a sustainable business model, that boundaries aren't walls to keep people out, but guidelines that teach others how to stay in. And here's the beautiful paradox: when you choose yourself, you become more available to others, not less. You bring your full, rested, energized self to every interaction. You model healthy behavior for those around you. You create sustainable systems rather than temporary heroics. This is what Joniqua means when she talks about enjoying life and staying grounded while pursuing ambitious goals. It's not about working less, it's about living more fully in each moment, whether you're working or resting. It's about recognizing that success without joy is failure by another name. I'm reminded of a powerful quote from Audre Lorde: caring for myself is not self indulgence, it is self preservation. And that is an act of political warfare. For Black women, especially, choosing ourselves is revolutionary in a world that expects our constant sacrifice. It's defiance in a system designed to extract our labor, our care, our very life force without reciprocity. When Joniqua speaks about staying grounded in faith while remaining resilient, she's talking about a profound form of self trust, the faith that your needs matter, the resilience to honor those needs even when it's uncomfortable, the wisdom to recognize that your well being isn't negotiable. So, what does this look like in practice? It starts with small acts of courage, saying no to the meeting that could easily be an email, setting an alarm that reminds you to stop working, even when you're in the flow, taking a full lunch break away from your desk, turning off notifications after 7 p.m. These are radical acts on the surface, but they represent a fundamental shift in how you value yourself. And then come the bigger boundaries, the ones that might actually ruffle feathers, declining the family obligation that would deplete you, renegotiating workload with your manager, raising your prices to reflect your true worth, ending relationships that consistently drain more than they give. These choices aren't easy. They require courage, clarity, and sometimes uncomfortable conversations. But here's what Joniko wants you to remember: the discomfort of setting a boundary is temporary, the cost of not setting it is permanent. Every time you override your own needs to please others, you teach them that your boundaries are optional. You teach yourself that your needs don't really matter, and you set the stage for resentment, burnout, and eventually breakdown. The alternative is radical self respect. It's recognizing that your time, energy, and attention are your most precious resources, and you get to decide how they're spent. This isn't about becoming rigid or uncompromising. It's about becoming intentional. It's about making conscious choices rather than defaulting to obligation. And yes, some people might not like your new boundaries. Some might push back, guilt trip, or even walk away. Let them, because the people who truly deserve a place in your life will respect your limits. They'll appreciate your honesty. They'll recognize that your self care enables you to show up more fully for the things that truly matter. So today, I'm asking you to make a radical commitment, not to me, not to some abstract ideal of success, but to yourself. I'm asking you to recognize that your well being isn't a luxury item to be purchased with whatever time and energy you have left after serving everyone else. It's the foundation upon which everything else in your life stands. When you walk out of this room today, I challenge you to identify one boundary you need to set with a colleague, a family member, a friend, or even with yourself. Then set it. Not tomorrow, not when it feels comfortable, not when you've achieved enough to deserve it. Today. Because choosing yourself isn't just about improving your life. It's about changing the world. It's about creating a new paradigm where self care isn't a privilege, but a birthright, where boundaries aren't selfish, but sacred, where your worth isn't measured by your output, but by your inherent value as a human being. In a world that profits from your exhaustion, choosing yourself isn't just an act of self care, it's revolution.